Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about my thoughts on Marvel's Secret Invasion Season 1. For the most part, this has been extremely underwhelming, and to the point where I was extremely bored every episode. There were some things that did intrigue me and did make me happy, but overall, I was utterly just bored. This show should have been bigger. It should have been a phase. That's what it should have been. And it should have been a movie. It should have spread it out through multiple movies of revealing who are Skrulls. That would have been a whole lot more exciting than what we got here. This is Marvel's technically third spy-ish type project. The let's see. I think the first one was Agents Marvel or Shield. Um no, is it no Marvel's Agents of Shield? Yeah, something like that. Then of course Captain America the Winter Soldier, and now this. I will say I appreciate so much that there was no humor in this and that it was straightforward, very similar to the older MCU. Even though the older MCU was straightforward with a couple of like jokes here and there. However, I didn't want it to be this dry. That is the problem with this show. Everything is so dry. The dialogue, especially from the British stars, is very, very, very dry and stuff with barely any emotion. The only person who had emotion is that one British government lady. So that was nice. And I want Marvel to keep going in the route of not being so silly, but I don't want them to be super serious. Like, have a nice blend, you know? Another thing I loved the most was just seeing all the action. Every time there was action, it was so good. And it was really interesting. Episode 4 was probably my favorite in terms of action. That motorcade scene was just phenomenal and stuff. And that's pretty much all I liked in this show. Everything else was just kind of hit or miss or just kind of for me. First, one reason why this show didn't do it is because it's underwhelming, like I said before. The Skrull invasion is supposed to be this big, huge reveal of superheroes and government officials being taken over by the Skrull. Comic book panels of them ripping off their masks and like revealing that they're Skrulls is really cool. The Skrulls can shapeshift into anybody, but they choose to wear their costumes of the hero, probably because, just to show, hey, this is who it really is, other than them just morphing and showing their face. And we got none of that this season. There are no superheroes whatsoever. However, there is kind of one, Rhodey, but he's never War Machine in this. He's just James Rhodes, and so it's kind of like, okay, whatever. But then when it comes to big reveals of the Skrulls, who are we supposed to get excited for? Think about it. In this show, the only people we know is Fury, Maria Hill. Maria Hill got killed in the very beginning. Whoever that white S.H.I.E.L.D agent is from the beginning that was in those Wakanda movies, who I could care less about. We have Rhodey, and then we have Talos, who I could care less about, who was in the Captain Marvel movie. Other than those few people, we don't know nobody else in this show because everybody is brand new. So when they get revealed to be a Skrull, it's just like, well, why should I care? I don't even know this person and stuff. And that's the biggest problem right there. There's no real anticipation. Now, it is revealed that Rhodey is a Skrull, and that should have been the big wow part. But because his personality, when we first saw him, was so unbearable, people kind of figure out, okay, yeah, he's a Skrull and everything. And he's really one of the other like people we recognize on the show, so most likely he is a Skrull. And it turned out to, yes, in fact, be a Skrull. He's played by a female Skrull. And, Don Cheadle's performance is amazing. But the thing is, it's like the person who impersonated him, well, who exactly impersonating him? Is there some significance to it? Is she important? Is she from the comics? No, we never find out. And so he's trying to start World War III along with Gravik and everything. or she is, I should say. And so, like, that all in its entirety is underwhelming. Every time somebody like Fury or the British lady knows who Rhodey is, they never take him out. They just let let her chatter, chit chat, and try to get the president to blow up Russia so it can start World War III. And it isn't until the final part, I'm losing my voice, that she finally does get shot and everything. And once again, it's very underwhelming. And so, like, Gravik's huge thing and the Scrolls' huge thing is that they're pissed off that Fury never found them no place to live. He's been too busy up in space or doing something else, and they feel shafted. Why? Because what makes Fury suck now is that they made Fury too human in this show. No longer is that man of mystery. No longer is that military man, who did all this amazing stuff. What makes Fury underwhelming for this and me is that one, in the beginning, he was just Samuel L. Jackson playing Samuel L. Jackson. He didn't sound like Fury. He didn't look like Fury. And then in the last episode, he puts back on the trench coat and the eye patch, but he still doesn't feel like Nick Fury. He's just playing this humanistic type role, and they too humanized him. We find out that, like, all this crap is always his fault, which is fine because that's how the comments are sometimes. And this is why people don't trust or like him. But it turns out Fury isn't even the man we know. All the cool stuff that happened in the past that made Fury director of S.H.I.E.L.D., the scroll made that happen. So it makes him feel just like a puppet and everything. While they are the real ones doing things. They're the one cleaning up all his messes and all this and that. And we find out I'd say one of the biggest reveals to me is to find out Fury is married. But not only is he married, but he's okay with her being a scroll, and he knew it all along. That should have been the biggest oh my god moment. He did not know his wife was a scroll. But instead they made it to where, oh, he's cool with the scrolls and everything. Those his people from that Captain Marvel movie. And so, like, he knows his wife is a scroll and they truly love each other. That makes him so boring, and it makes him romantic and human, see, but it doesn't make him cool as that mystery man and everything. I still say they should have made it to where he didn't know his wife was a scroll. But this now brings you back to Captain America, the Winter Soldier, when he told Cap, he has a wife. I did not believe that because he's Nick Fury, but now we know it is true. Another thing that's a huge blunder in this is that he had so many opportunities to prove to the president that, hey, Rhodey is a scroll, but he never once tried to do that. The security detail that was Rhodey, we assumed that they were scrolls, but they're not. They're regular humans because Fury took them out with tranquilizer darts. So why in episode 5 he just didn't blast that dude's head right then and there? And so it would have revealed to the president, yo, there are scrolls. Another huge mistake and something that was odd that Fury did is that the whole harvest thing. He had the scrolls collect the DNA of all the people that was involved in Endgame. And that was made the Super Scrolls, the Super Scrolls. One, this show has no budget. They couldn't afford big name superheroes. They couldn't afford big name CGI. And they couldn't afford more vials of the harvest. How is everybody's DNA in one teeny tiny vial, a vial the size of like a sniper bullet and everything? That don't make no sense. And how are they able to determine who's who when it's all mixing around and everything? And so what was so stupid is, okay, we knew that wasn't Fury dying of radiation going to get Gravik and everything. But still, he gave Gravik and Gaia the vials and everything of the harvest. So now both of them are even more Super Scrolls than what before. And they have a CGI Super Scroll fight, which was kind of unimpressive. All the powers they had, and they only used a couple and everything, which shows you they did not have the budget for that. And of course, Gaia kills Gravik within like a minute or so. So the whole huge Super Scroll fight was underwhelming and everything. And it's kind of like, dude, why did Fury give both of them the powers of a Super Scroll? Now Gaia still has the powers of the Super Scroll. What if she turns evil and everything? She was already working with the bad guys in the beginning, but then she turned like good very soon, especially when her dad died. Now, I will say, Lord have mercy, the underused talent. Maria Hill, what was the point in bringing her in just to kill off in the first episode? Well, the point is maybe the actress was tired of doing this. They don't do nothing with her. The last time Maria Hill had any significance was Phase 2. That was over a decade ago, and they haven't really done nothing with her since, other than just have her show up in the background. And so she's gone. The dude who, like, the white agent dude who was in the Wakanda movies, Black Panther movies, like, he was used I can't talk today. He was underused and everything. Talos, who I really don't remember and could care less. And I have a problem with all the British actors. Why are they so stiff in this show? Like, take Amelia Clark. I've only seen her in one thing, the first season of Game of Thrones. And other than that, I know a lot of people love her. And I said before, a lot of her movies bomb and everything, or they flop. And I was wondering, is it the movie themselves or is it her? Now, when I see her in interviews, because I've seen her in plenty of interviews, and one just recently, a couple of weeks ago, she has so much personality. Why in the world did she play this role so stiff? She never once did she have any emotion on her face. Not even when she was shot and came back to life, she had no emotion. And I don't understand that at all. Like, seriously, like, and I'm not trying to call her a bad actress, but she's an underwhelming actress from what I've seen. So I don't understand, like, how she does all these romance movies and she plays such a stiff role in the show. And maybe that was the point. Maybe Gaia, because Gaia has a lot of emotional baggage from the whole father thing, her mother thing. But it's kind of like you at least show a little bit of emotion. Maybe she was nervous. Who knows? I will say this, she's great at handling a gun. That action scene she had was amazing. But I would have liked a little bit more emotion. Now, somebody, the Garrett person, whatever his name is, his acting was kind of odd too. He had all these big emotional speeches, but they didn't come across as being genuine. There was something off with like his acting and stuff. The way he was trying too hard, or he was trying too hard to be a Shakespearean theater actor type person. And it just didn't come off as like good or real, in my opinion. It was just kind of off because it was a bit too much, and sometimes it wasn't enough. And so, with the British lady, she's just like, humorous and stuff. I've seen her in a few roles and she's cool. And at least she brought emotion and everything because every other British person had no emotion and stuff. And, the scrolls themselves, they didn't even have the budget to make everybody a scroll. They always walk around in their human form, except for like a few. And it's just kind of like, are you serious? Where was the budget in this? Especially the Super Scroll fight. That looks so CGI fake. The best CGI fight I saw was in WandaVision with Wanda and Agatha, and also the two Visions. That was great CGI. What has happened, man, to Marvel CGI? Now, one thing that was really cool to see is that yes, we knew Rhodey was a scroll, but when exactly was the switch? When we see him getting released, he has a medical gown on and he doesn't have his bracelets and he's having trouble walking. There is a huge possibility that he was replaced by a scroll since either after Endgame or after Civil War. Some people believe it's after Endgame because doing Endgame and after that he had bracelets on his legs helping him to walk, but he did not have them in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. However, that does not explain the medical gown. And we know that when he was in Civil War, he had a medical gown. So after he, lost the ability to walk. So my bet is Civil War. He was taken, and then the fake like scroll just put on like the bracelets, but decided, all right, let's take them off, for the Disney Plus shows. It has to be Civil War. It can't be after Endgame. Why is he wearing a medical gown? Now, another shocking thing in this show was the president declaring war on the Skrulls, talking about he will exterminate and eliminate them all. And so this has now caused people to go after just normal, regular humans because they are afraid they might be Skrulls. And we see them getting shot left and right. And Fury is pissed by this, but he doesn't do nothing because he just heads back into space and with his wife and everything. This could possibly set up something perfectly for the mutants when they reveal mutants into the MCU properly, not like Miss Marvel did. Because of course humans hate mutants. They hate people with superpowers. So this would be perfect for the X-Men. However, it's weird in this universe of humans. They're cool with superheroes having superpowers, but then once aliens have it and want to take over the world, then they got a problem with it. Also, they act like they're shocked. Like, why didn't they just go on the news and be like, yo, there are alien green people in the world and they can look like you? They know what aliens are. They've been through so many alien invasions so far that humans should be norm to this. So yeah, that's this show. It was just boring, very boring, very, very, very low budgeted, boring, and not even like spy. Like there's a lot of like cop shows, espionage shows, spy shows that are a lot more interesting than this. The reason why this wasn't all that interesting is that there was no intrigue. There was nothing, no true mystery that kept you wanting to be invested. Because we already knew that there were Skrulls and that they was taking over and that they was pissed off because of the whole Fury Captain Marvel thing. And that was revealed before the show even came out. Stupid showrunner. Another thing that was odd about this show, and my last point, was the runtime. 6 episodes, and you don't really know what the runtime of this show is because it keeps changing. First, it was like an hour, then it was around 40 minutes, then one episode was 30, one episode was around 25, and this finale was it was 30 minutes. 30 minutes for a finale. That's basically sitcom level type stuff right there. How are you supposed to tell a very good spy alien invasion story in 30 minutes, especially in the finale? So Marvel needs to get their crap like sorted out because they have lost it. They have lost it. This entire phase, what are we in, phase 4? It's been boring, man, and it kind of really sucks. There haven't been no good movies and there haven't been no great shows, and it's quite disappointing how the MCU fell from grace and everything. They lost their mojo. And Kevin Feige, I put this solely on his head because he is the one overseeing all of this and he let all of this happen. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.